Look, I mean, never waste a crisis. Look, I mean, never waste a crisis. Look, I mean, never waste a crisis. Seen as the result of having a pandemic is that we've shown that everybody can go digital in an emergency, that it is possible.
Interesting for you right now in that obviously the day-to-day business has changed. And I say this every time we record, but it's obviously we need to keep in mind we're so lucky that we have our jobs and we're able to work from home. But supply chain and trade right now, I feel like the pandemic and coronavirus is bringing that stuff to the forefront and like how we make things digital. How do you think this is all kind of bringing that to the forefront?
Well, there's two different things going on. I mean, the first thing, what we've seen as the result of having a pandemic is that we've shown that everybody can go digital in an emergency, that it is possible, and so that's positive. But on the other side, a lot of what's happening is it's disrupting supply chains because you still do have this physical component of data transfer. You can't do everything from home. There are things that you have to do physically. And so, really what is going on here is figuring out what are the best practices. What are banks doing to accept documents? If your bank is technically open, but everybody is working from home, where exactly are you delivering the documents to? There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'm sure. And this is all, I'm sure you focused on this obviously in your day-to-day, but then now this is kind of forced on everyone's radar and not just the people who are always focusing on it. So I find that very interesting. So what different working groups are you currently focusing on?
Every working group that I'm on has fully pivoted to look at, what we can do to help in this situation. I think the one or two that are most relevant here are perhaps BAFT with the Innovation Council. That's a group of U.S. Located banks, and they're really looking at, okay, what are banks doing, and how can this be used to inform what we do as the crisis continues. ICC as well, the International Chamber of Commerce, they updated their force majeure clause, which is the one that kind of says, well, look, if your bank is open, then you can't consider this a force majeure, which is a problem for both finance and insurance. So ICC is also gathering what is happening. They're updating guidelines. They're trying to explain, how you can accept electronic documents if it's not written in the contract that you can do that. And what are the different ways you can do it? Is fax okay? Is PDF okay? Do you need a letter of indemnity? There's so many questions around this that I think people don't really think about until it happens.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think things after this is hopefully passed, hopefully in the next few months, and people are going back to business, it'll be back to business as usual for you, or do you think this has changed things kind of from now on?
Well, look, I mean, never waste a crisis. I think now that we've experienced the fact that we can do these things, that it's going to change a lot of the way we do business. I mean, think about it. If you are already doing letters of credit through Contour, or you're using Marco Polo, right? You already have native electronic documents, and you don't face this problem of, okay, well, how do I get the document pack somewhere? And so I think there's going to be a greater push then to, now that we recognize that the benefits are not just, okay, well, we have a different business flow. The benefits are the fact that when you have something like this happen, trade can continue. You don't have to stop finance. It just continues to flow.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think I think that things are just from also marketing and other aspects of my job. I think we're not going to go back to business as usual because also people are realizing like, okay, I can't go to an event. I can't physically give someone my card. I can't do this. I can't do that. Okay, how am I going to reach out to them? How are we going to connect? And from my perspective, because I manage all of our social media at R3, like everyone's trying to get more social or more digital, and we're doing virtual boot camps and virtual this and virtual that. But to your point, like the people or the companies and the people who are already trying to make everything digital kind of have a leg up here. And it's like, it would be business as usual if something like this happens again in 5 years. So that's kind of crazy. I think it's forcing everyone into, if you weren't ready for like digital everything, you're kind of now having to focus on it, which puts us in an interesting position because we can be like, oh, well, we have this webinar or virtual event or this or that, and we can help your business. I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to sell our 3 or 4 now. But
no, but it's so true because, you know, in some of the working groups, a lot of the banks have particularly cited India as a big problem because a lot of the, DHL and others have stopped picking up parcels to go to India. Well, I think actually DHL has started to deliver to certain zip codes, but not everywhere. And so banks are like, I don't even know how to get these documents there. Nobody will pick them up. But then we have banks in India that are using blockchain, and they're like, you could just use us because we already do this on blockchain, and it's fine to use electronic documents.
So crazy.
Yeah, so that's been pretty interesting.
The whole thing has been interesting. That also just made me think of, I've been ordering random things. Obviously, I'm also ordering some food and stuff. I don't know. I'm just ordering random things online because I'm like, I want to support you. But also, shout out to all of the people who, like, delivery men and who are working. Like, I'm sure so many people are ordering things online. And they're actually, like, risking their lives to be transferring, like, your boxes to you from this place or that place. And so a lot of people are, we're lucky we can be digital. A lot of people can't be, and a lot of businesses have stopped because of that. But everyone, like, getting shipments and stuff, even I'm just talking about basic, like, Amazon or, like, I don't know, random stuff. But they're kind of going out. I was thinking about this yesterday, obviously, very in-depth, going out and delivering all this stuff to people and risking their lives.
Yeah, so
scary stuff.
Certainly logistics is incredibly important right now. And that's one of those physical parts of the supply chain that you can't really do that digitally. I mean, you can use blockchain to do inventory management, which helps with exceptions management, which is what is happening right now. But it's so difficult right now. I mean, just think if you're so my uncle was a truck driver, and so if you're driving this delivery vehicle across the United States, truck stops are closed, rest stops are closed. I mean, you're really in a situation where not only do you have to do this job, but you're not able to do it in the way that you've always done it. So it's changed for everyone.
Yeah, it's. I think it's important to think about all the different steps of the. Yeah, you can't make everything digital, and these other people are kind of risking or changing the way they do things because of this. So, man, it's such crazy times. But I'm happy that you're doing things to keep you sane, too, other than work stuff. Because work, I swear, the days are just, like, longer now because you don't have to get up and go into the office and whatever. Again, we're lucky to be able to have our jobs. But it's kind of a fun little activity. Are you doing anything else other than trying to breathe longer?
My swim practice.
But it's really cool. I think it's such an interesting thing. You're so interesting. You're just you really are. I've been trying to use that word less because, like, previous episodes I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's so interesting. Like, not everything has to be so, but you are just objectively an interesting person. Are you doing anything else kind of in your spare time?
Well, I'm spending a lot of time writing.
Great.
In this time to really figure out how we can think of, like, new ways to continue the digital journey. So I'm tweeting a lot more. I'm doing a lot more blogs. Yeah, I know exactly.
I'm like, I know.
So it's been a good intellectual journey as well. Because thinking through problems is. We have the luxury right now to do that because, we do work for a company that can go digital easily. We can work from home and we can continue to, put out product and continue to do updates from home, which is great.
Yeah, we are very fortunate. I think I should be, like, renamed, like, the R3 company stalker or something because people are like, oh, yeah, I've started tweeting more. I'm like, yeah, I know. Or someone's like, wow, I read your whole internal marketing newsletter. I'm like, I know. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, that person didn't. so bad. But anyways, yes. Okay, so for all followers, make sure to keep up with all of Alisa's great content because you do have really good content. And even though you can't be speaking at events right now, you have blogs coming out. You have been active on social media. Follow her on Twitter. And yeah, I'll put all your information in the link of the episode so people can stalk you too.
Awesome.
Such a pleasant response. Okay, thank you for joining me. This was really fun.
Yeah.
I really wish you luck in your journey to get to 3 minutes.
Thank you. And it was such a pleasure to see you again. I missed seeing people in the office.
I know, me too. I'm like, please, I want to hang out with you. Wait, really quick before we go, what do you think is a reasonable goal, knowing that I'm not going to really commit to this like you are, but for me to get to, I got to 45 seconds. Should I try and get to a minute, or should I just give me a goal so you report to me, I'll report back to you?
If you got to 45 seconds, you can get to a minute and 5 seconds, for sure.
A minute and 5?
Mm-hmm.
Writing that down. Okay, great. I'll get to a minute and 5 seconds. I'll report back to you.
Excellent.
I'm giving myself little challenges. The last episode, we had Demos Raptis, and he has a book, and the challenge for me is that I'm going to have to read the book, except apparently it's fairly technical, but we're going to get through it. So I'm giving myself little things to work for.
Oh, awesome.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.